Janet from Try It Like It Created, and today we're working with polymer clay. I want to show you 2 different ways to color your clay with mica powders. So what I have in front of me is a piece of clay that I've already conditioned off screen. I have my roller and then some guides on the side just to control how thick I roll this piece before we get started. And so for the first one, what we're going to do here is stamp into the clay. Alright, it looks pretty good. I'll make sure I don't have any air bubbles, and I just want to make sure that I can lift it off of my surface. Looks like it's working out well. Just give it one more roll here just to get it nice and flat. Alright, so for this technique we're going to take a rubber stamp, and this one I have here from Stampendous, and I've had it for a long time, and I really like this floral pattern here. And so let me just wipe off the top to make sure I've got everything off of it, because I've used it a few different times. Okay, sorry about that. Should have done that off camera. And then I'm going to take this interference violet, and this is a Pearl-X color, and I am just going to apply it with my fingers to the top of the stamp. So I am just tapping into the mica. Ooh, really tapped in. You may hear some movement. I have a cat in the background that's kind of playing with a few things. Alright, so there's that. Let me just clean up here for a second because I've kind of overly tapped into it here. Alright, so now I'm going to take this stamp and stamp it into my clay. And I'm going to just turn this piece over because I just dumped some powder into it. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a really good push and just kind of rock back and forth so I get it indented into the clay. And then I'm going to lift. And so there you can see, hopefully, let me see if I can move this for you so you can see the colors there. All right, and that's pretty, just like that. I'm actually thinking about just leaving it. That's so pretty. What I was going to do was go over the top with a different color, but let me grab, I was going to do like a rosy color, but I don't think that's going to look good with this. So I'm going to change my tune here and grab a different color. Maybe pearl. I could go with golds. Okay, this one is, let's see, micro pearl and macro pearl. So, which one do I want to use? I think I'm going to go with the glittery one. Alright, so then all I have to do is with my finger, just make sure it's cleaned off from the iridescent. Alright, and I'm going to take this and just go over the top surface. And I don't want to get, I want to go quick because I don't want to get too much into those leaves. And I'm just doing a real light coat. You could go heavier. But I kind of like the subtleness of it with that iridescent. Just make sure I've got an even coat going on. And then I'm using this to make jewelry, so I am going to cut out some shapes here with some clay cutters. All right, so I'm going to do a necklace. And 2 earrings. So let's see what those guys will look like. Okay. It's kind of hard to see what I'm doing and keep you in camera as well, but here we go. All right, so I'm going to give that a stamp, and then what I do is I just kind of wiggle this a little bit to make sure that I'm all the way through. Okay, and then I want to do 2 earrings. So I'm going to try to go with the stem right there. All right, and then I kind of want to match that pattern as much as I can. All right, I think that's going to do it. So they're going to be a little different. But yeah, I like them. And now I have extra, so, you know, I could do some circles here. So let's just grab a circle there. And one over here. I think this is the hardest part, is kind of choosing where you want to stamp. Okay, now with circles, you don't want to wiggle too much one direction or the other, or your circle gets off-centered. Okay, so we remove this part, and this, we can just fold that up and kind of hide those colors, and if we rub it together enough, we can use that again, and those colors won't show. So now these are ready to bake. All I need to do is take them off of my plastic sheet and transfer them. And so I like working on plastic like this because it makes it easy to kind of roll these guys off without misshapening them too much. So I'm just going to roll these off, move them off to the side so that I can show you the next. And these have gotten a little warm under the lights, and so they are curving on me a bit. Alright, so clean off our surface here. Take our next hunk of clay. Actually, I am just going to work with the piece I was using and just kind of condition that a little bit just to work that mica into it. I think we'll be in good shape. Alright, so just kind of roll this out a little bit. Make sure that mica is incorporated into the clay. I mean, if I look closely, it does have a glitter to it. Okay. And then our next one, we're going to use a stencil. And let's see how this works. Alright, so here we go again with my skewers that I use to level this out. Alright, clicking you here is my wedding ring hitting the roller. Looks like I have a little air bubble here, so I'm going to pop it and start over. All right. Alright, so that should do it. Just double check, make sure. Just going to go over it one more time, make sure we're nice and smooth. Good enough for this technique. So I've got 2 colors of mica here that look really nice together, and I am going to put the light, this is called Pistachio, and I will link to what I'm using in the section below. But I'm just going to rub this onto the top of my clay until I get a nice blend, a nice smooth application of what I want. And if you have any little dimples or whatever, you can kind of push into it to smooth out your clay. And then I have my stencil here. Now, I have used this stencil a number of different times, and I've used it with a glue, and so it is really sticky on the surface. So I'm going to put this down here so that we have a similar pattern everywhere, and I'm just lightly pushing that onto my clay surface. And then I'm going to apply this color, which is called Mint. And so I crack that open, and just with my finger again, I'm going to go right on top. A little bit heavier application this time. Now these colors are very similar to each other, so we'll just give it a second and see if we have enough definition between the 2 colors. Alright, and then I lift this up. And there, I don't know if you can see the difference, but the pattern is definitely there. Alright, and then with this one, same thing. We can go ahead and stamp into it, and I think I'm going to go with these floral shapes here. Okay, so what I have decided is these 2, I don't know if you can even see them if I'm casting a shadow here, but these 2 right here, I'm going to try to center up. Alright, so there's that one. Hopefully I got it centered pretty well. And this one. Once again, kind of hoping I've got it centered there. And we'll remove the excess in there. Those are real subtle, but super darn cute. So then they're ready for baking.